Hey guys, Foxitor, and welcome to a new video. This time we're doing the draft analysis for the UPBA, a new draft league that I'm in, and I'm really excited to participate in it because, I haven't played draft in a while. It's not that long, but it feels long, and I'm really excited to just start team building again and start battling again because that's something I really enjoy. In the UPBA, some familiar faces, some new faces, so I'm definitely excited to face everyone and try to prove my worth, improve as a draft player. So we're really looking forward to that. Going into this draft, I didn't really have a strategy, to be honest. I just really wanted to pick up some cool mons. So I'm just going to show you my first pick right off the bat. Tornadus Therian. Probably one of my favorite mons to use in any competitive format, except for doubles maybe. This mon is super duper good. Stab Hurricanes hurt a ton. It has a great speed tier. I think it's 121 if I'm not mistaken. It has an amazing speed tier. Really good utility options. I mean, defog, U-turn, knockoff are amazing. It gets amazing coverage in Heatwave, Focus Blast. I think it even gets Psychic. This thing gets amazing coverage. You can run it both physical and special. You primarily run it special, of course, but you could run physical with superpower if you really want to. So that's definitely an option. So yeah, really happy I could get this. I was just thinking I'm just going to take the best thing on the board when it's my turn. Probably interesting to mention though, this is a 20-man league, so 20 people in the snake draft, and I was number 8. So that's not too bad of a position, to be honest. It's kind of close to the front. So it's not too bad, it's not too great either. So yeah, eighth pick in the 20-man draft. So I just took Tornadus. It was the best thing on the board, and I really wanted, to be honest. So thinking about my second pick, I really wanted to try something different, and I really wanted to play sand. So as you're gonna see, my second pick is Excadrill. Now, Excadrill is an amazing mon, even out of sand. It has an amazing attack stat at 135, I believe. It has 80-something speed, so it's a really great Scarfer. It gets some really nice abilities. It gets Mold Breaker, which is amazing, and Sand Force and Sand Rush. So it's primarily a sand mon. It gets Sword Dance, so it's an amazing sweeper. Utility sets on this thing aren't even bad either. I mean, you can run Sub Toxic or Protect Toxic with Rapid Spin and Stealth Rock, which is really nice. So Excadrill in general is just a really solid mon, and I'm really happy I drafted it. So picking Excadrill as my second pick, I kind of set the tone for okay, I'm gonna draft sand right. At this point I didn't really know which sand mon I really wanted to get, so I kind of left it for later because I didn't think a lot of sand option would go. Yeah, this is my second pick. Really happy with it. Super solid physical attacker. Third pick, Gengar. If you've seen Wolf Clicks WBE Season 3, by the way, this team is heavily inspired by that. I didn't mean to when I started the draft, but as I went along, I kind of picked up a lot of mons that he did as well. So yeah, if you've seen his run that season, I love those videos, man. I love those videos. Yeah, Gengar, super solid special mon, amazing speed tier. I think it's 110 base speed, which is amazing, and 130 base special attack. It gets amazing coverage. It has Stab, Shadow Ball, and Sludge Wave, of course, and it gets amazing coverage options in T-Bolt, and it gets Psychic and D-Gleam. So it gets amazing coverage options. It gets Nasty Plot as well. I think it didn't used to in previous gens, but now it has. Tornadus Therian also, by the way, I completely forgot that. But it gets Nasty Plot, so sub Nasty Plot with Shadow Wall and Focus Blast maybe is a really solid set. But of course it has a really great Scarf potential and Specs potential as well. So there's definitely a lot of things you can do with this mon. And it's a frail powerhouse, right? It's a glass cannon. You don't want to switch it in on anything. You just want to make sure it has safe free switch-ins and then do massive damage. So really happy I picked up Gengar. Next pick is Primarina. So at this point I was kind of thinking, okay, I need a water type, and I really want a fairy type as well. And Primarina was still on the board, and I really like Primarina. Primarina has a super solid special attack stat at 126, Speed is not too amazing. It has nice special bulk, and physical bulk isn't too great either. Primarina gives me a lot of things. You can run Flip Turn on this thing as well. Scarf Flip Turn Primarina is actually a really cool set. It gets nice coverage options as well. It gets Energy Ball. It gets what's it called? Psychic. So that's really nice. Torrent is a really nice ability if Primarina gets low, but you can also run Liquid Voice and then use Hyper Voice instead of Scald or Hydro Pump. Options, you know. Sub-calm mindsets with Primarina are super duper scary. I got 6-0'd by one by Q the Costa Rican. That was a fun game. So Calm Mind Primarina is definitely a threat, definitely with Draining Kiss as well. So it has some form of recovery. So there's definitely a lot of options with Primarina, and I'm really happy I grabbed it. It's a super solid water type, super solid fairy type. So yeah, really happy I picked Primarina. So next pick is Gigalith. So at this point, I think maybe T-Tar was gone already, and I really didn't want Hippo because that gives me double ground types. Plus, Hippowdon doesn't benefit from the sand it sets up. Like Gigalith and T-Tar are both rock types, which means they get special defense boosts with their sand, and Hippowdon does not. Of course, Hippowdon gets solid like recovery and slack. Is it slack off? I think it's slack off, right? And Gigalith doesn't. But Gigalith is still a super solid one. I think it has 135 base attack and 130 base defense. If you invest specially defensive and then with sand, it's a super nice special wall as well. It's a really solid like stealth rock setter. You can bring it in multiple times because it will live a bunch of hits. So it gets a lot of opportunities to set up the sand, to set up rocks. You can even run Explode on this thing if you want to get Excadrill in immediately. So those are definitely options. Iron Defense Body Press is a really nice set. Of course, if you run it more bulky, Toxic is an option as well. So I'm really happy with Gigalith. I was kind of doubting between T-Tar and Gigalith, but I waited too long for T-Tar, and it cost quite a lot of points when compared to Gigalith. So definitely happy with Gigalith. Next one I drafted is Galarian Moltres. So at this point, I'm kind of doubting, do I pick Moltres or do I pick Galarian Moltres? Galarian Moltres, like the pick I mainly made because of the bulk options that Galarian Moltres gets. It has decent physical defense and HP and super solid special defense. It definitely gives me something against Spectria, which I didn't have yet. So that's amazing. I did, however, think when I drafted this thing that it got Roost and Defog, but it definitely doesn't. So that's super annoying because like normal Moltres does. Of course, this one isn't known for like its bulk options. I mean, it's an amazing setup sweeper. Weakness Policy, Berserk, Nasty Plot. You can get to +5, I think, in one turn. Plus agility, and this thing can like sweep super duper easily. So it's a super solid one. It gets U-turn as well. So like primarily, if you want to run the bulky option, U-turn is super nice for some pivoting. So yeah, really happy with Galarian Moltres. Of course, it sucks that it doesn't get solid recovery or defog, which would have been nice for the team. But overall, Galarian Moltres is a super solid pick in my opinion, and it definitely gives me some bulk options, but also some really nice setup sweeping options. Next pick is Virizion. So I wanted something that was both resistant to ground, because I mean Gigalith, Gengar, and Excadrill are both weak to ground, or all three weak to ground, and I wanted something that resisted rock, because Tornadus Therian and Moltres are both weak to rock. So that's not great. So Virizion kind of helps with that. It's grass fighting, so it resists both fighting. It resists both ground and rock, which is amazing. Like its base stats wouldn't say it. Like it has base 90, I think, in both special attack and physical attack. But this thing can exert some offensive pressure. It gets both Swords Dance and Calm Mind, and then Leaf Storm and Close Combat will hurt immensely hard. So Virizion is definitely a solid option against recovery and synthesis as well. So that's nice. It has super solid special defense. I drafted a bunch of like specially defensive monsters like Virizion and Primarina and Moltres are all three really specially defensive. So that's nice, I guess. And in general, this one just gives me answers to some prominent threats that were drafted. So I'm really happy I grabbed it. Next pick was Reuniclus. Like, Reuniclus is probably one of my favorite Pokemon, if not my favorite Pokemon. Look at this thing, man. It's so cute. Reuniclus gives me that dual regenerator core. A really solid dual regenerator core, if I can be honest. Reuniclus has like 127 or 125, I don't know, base special attack, so it's really especially offensive. It has 110 base HP with decent bulk in its SPDF and defense. So if you invest or slap on an Assault Vest, this thing is actually really bulky. It also gives me a Trick Room option. I have some mons that are kind of slow. I mean, Primarina and Gigalith and now Reuniclus are kind of slow. So Trick Room is definitely an option that I wanted, and Reuniclus gives it. I mean, I'm not going to bring Trick Room every week, of course, and this is not a Trick Room oriented team, but it's still nice to have. This thing also gets some other nice abilities. Overcoat to prevent stand damage, which is really nice, and powder moves. Plus Magic Guard. What's it called? Calm Mind, Acid Armor, Magic Guard, Life Orb, Reuniclus is an amazing set. Especially if your opponent doesn't have a dark type, or if you're able to remove the dark type, stored power just shreds through teams, since Reuniclus gets solid recovery and recover as well. If you set up with Acid Armor or Calm Mind on the right ones, this thing can sweep entire teams, which is super duper nice. And yeah, I'm just really happy I grabbed Reuniclus. I think Reuniclus is probably my favorite Pokemon. So yeah, super happy with that. And the next pick, I had this pick in mind for like a while drafting, but I thought no one was going to grab this one, so I kind of left it for a while. But it's Stoutland. Now, Stoutland gives me a few things I really like. It gives me a semi-bulky Intimidate mon. Like, if you invest physically defensive with Intimidate, this mon is actually super duper nice. It also gets Sand Rush, so it's fast and sand, and it doesn't take sand damage anymore, which is amazing. It has base 110 attack, so it's not great, but it's not bad either. It's a really nice cleanup sweeper. It doesn't get return anymore in this gen, which is annoying, but it's definitely still a solid mon. It gets really nice coverage in like Play Rough and Iron Head and Ice Fang as well. So enough physical coverage options to take your opponents with. And it's nice to have another mon that kind of benefits from the sand besides Excadrill. So yeah, really happy I picked up Stoutland. Now, I only have 9 points left at this point. So I was kind of looking at some mons, like the following 2 mons I'm not too sure about whether I'm like happy with them, but they definitely bring some worth to the team in my opinion. So yeah, next pick is Lantern. Now, someone drafted Dracovish, so I was like, okay, Lantern is still on the board. Lantern gives me a solid Water Absorb mon, also a Volt Absorb mon, which is really nice. It has a super solid HP stat, so if you invest into its defensive stats, it's actually quite bulky. It's a nice Volt Switch mon, it gets Scald, it gets Heal Bell, I believe. It doesn't get Wish, so it's a nice Cleric, but it doesn't pass Wishes, which is too bad. I mean, this mon would have been amazing if it got Wish, but I'm quite sure it doesn't get Wish. And yeah, this is definitely not a mon I expect to bring like most of the weeks, but it's definitely nice against some niche mons. And yeah, definitely happy I grabbed Lantern. Like, Lantern is probably one of the more solid mons out of the 2 I wasn't sure about. But like I can see Lantern bringing some real value to some matches. So yeah, happy I grabbed it. And the final mon in the draft is Flareon. So Flareon, I'm not too sure about. I mean, it has Guts and a 130 base attack stat. Like with Toxicorp, this thing hits incredibly hard with Flare Blitzes and Facades. So Flareon definitely exerts some offensive pressure. It's kind of hurt by its speed here. And of course, Flare Blitz recoil plus Toxicorp chip is going to chip down at your Flareon really fast. You can also run like Heavy Duty Boots bulky Flareon with Wish. Like I now have a Wishmon, which I didn't have on Lantern. But I don't know how solid Flareon is at passing Wishes, since its defensive typing isn't great. I mean, Fire is not a great defensive typing in my opinion, and especially its physical bulk isn't too amazing. I'll have to see whether I actually find some opportunities to use Flareon and find some matchups in which Flareon is good, but it definitely could bring some value to the team. I'm kind of considering trading in Lantern or Flareon for like one other mon that's really good, or just 2 different mons. But yeah, that's definitely something I'm still thinking about. In this draft, you have to draft between 10 and 12 mons, and I choose to go for 11, because that's what in the end, point value wise, paid off more, because I don't think there were any really solid mons, any 9 points here after I drafted Stoutland. So yeah, I picked up 2 more mons. If I would have wanted to pick up 12 mons, I think my final points would have been spread out quite thin. In general, I'm quite happy with the team. I've got decent removal options in Tornadus and Excadrill. It's not, of course, not amazing that I only have 2 removal mons, but like Tornadus is one of the best removal options probably in the game. So yeah, quite happy about that. I've got decent rock options in Excadrill and Gigalith, and no other hazards though. So that's definitely not amazing. I mean, this team definitely would have appreciated some webs maybe, but yeah, I didn't go for that, so that's a shame. And the distribution between physical attackers and special attackers is kind of skewed as well. I mean, I have primarily a lot of special attackers. I mean, Gengar, Primarina, Moltres, Reuniclus are all really solid special attackers. Like, I have some solid physical attackers. I mean, Excadrill is really physical, Gigalith as well, Virizion can be, Tornadus even can be, and of course Stoutland and Flareon. But you can probably see that the more expensive picks I made are primarily special. So that's not too big of a problem unless like my opponent has a really solid special wall. But I don't think it's too big a problem, to be honest. So yeah, in general, I'm quite happy with the team I drafted, and I hope I can put it to good use. So week 1's battle should be up in, I think it's a few days. I don't know exactly. It should be up quite soon. So look forward to that. And that's really all I wanted to say. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.